Meteorologist Chris Holtzman here. Want to give you the latest information now on Tropical Depression 9. So let's take a look at what we have. Now remember, this was once potential Tropical Cyclone 9, and what this system is doing is it is certainly starting to become a bit more organized. In fact, they have noted a weak center of circulation, and that is why this is no longer a potential tropical cyclone, but this is now a Tropical Depression 9. To the right of your screen there, notice that well-organized storm. That is Umberto, and believe it or not, this could actually help to keep the system away from us. In terms of a direct landfall, this could keep it over the open waters of the Atlantic. So what we're tracking right now, these two systems will kind of interact with each other. Models are all over the place as to exactly what the speed of the system will be. We have a pretty good consensus this morning, though, on the actual track of the system. Let me show you what we have, and there's Tropical Depression 9 as of the 11 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Winds of 35 miles per hour. This will likely become Tropical Storm Imelda either later today or into the day tomorrow. Pressure's dropping just a little bit, but here's the latest track, and one thing you may notice as this goes through here is now Charleston's outside of the cone. Remember yesterday we were in it. Now I do want to caution that anywhere in that cone is where the center of the storm can be, and these storms can become so large that impacts can be felt well outside of the cone. It's good news that we are technically outside of the cone, as the system could be taking a more easterly turn, but still I am expecting impacts on Monday and Tuesday. But again, we like the trend we're seeing this morning as opposed to yesterday where I had a direct landfalling hurricane. This would keep the worst of the weather offshore, and this would likely be between about late Monday into Tuesday before the system moves away. So that's the latest track from the National Hurricane Center. Let me show you our spaghetti plots, and again, you can see some tight consensus now as to that easterly turn. Only about 2 to 3 models there bring the storm directly onshore, but the latest trend now is to keep this more south and east of our area. Again, I still expect impacts on Monday and Tuesday, but compared to what we were thinking yesterday, this would mean less rain and also less wind, and even that tornado threat would become less as well. So again, we want to see this trend continue. Now, is this a trend or will this go back? Let's hope it's a trend, as 2 of our model suites this morning, the 0Z, the 6Z, and the 12Z, we are tracking some of that agreement. So again, definitely stay tuned to the forecast as details could change. But again, the trend this morning is for this to be more south and east. Still expecting some impact with rain, but as opposed to seeing significant catastrophic rain, this solution definitely would not bring that into our area. Let me show you what I mean with some of our models. So here's the American model right now, and you want to notice the latest track of the system. It brings by Monday some rain to our area. Still some pockets of heavy rain on Monday. Now the question we're asking as well is how far north will this get before it gets pulled to the east, as the models are showing. Because the upper level low in the southeast and Umberto is expected to become stronger with that upper level low weakening, that actually opens up the window, which many models have been showing, for this to go east. And watch what happens as we head into Tuesday. This takes a hard turn to the right, which means that the worst of the weather would be east of us into Wednesday. Now this does slow down, which will keep the windy conditions and rain around longer. But again, the worst of the weather would be over the open waters of the Atlantic. Here's the European run, which yesterday morning had a landfalling hurricane. This is the 0Z run, so we're waiting for the 12Z run. There's Umberto on the far right of your screen. That could be strong enough to actually pull the system to the east, and that's what the European model shows. Now again, it still has some heavy rain overhead, but not like what we could have seen if the earlier run played out. So again, these models continue to change, but the trend is in our favor this morning, and we'll see if that continues into the afternoon. You can see that continue. So once again, just breaking down what we know, and again, I have to update that. This is Tropical Depression 9, so this is no longer a potential tropical cyclone, but we do have first alert weather days up Monday through Tuesday. And again, the track's still a bit of uncertainty, but we are seeing a bit more agreement this morning in terms of at least the potential track of this. There's multiple recon aircraft going through from the hurricane hunters, and that data gets put into our models, and that's actually what was put into the models this morning, and that's why we're seeing a bit of agreement. And also because of a center developing or has developed, that should help to actually allow a better track to develop in terms of some consistency. So a lot to talk about. Of course, we're breaking it down on air, online. Now's a good time as well to download the Live 5 weather app. Still be prepared, but again, we're hoping these trends continue where this gets more to the south and east of our area. Of course, we'll have the latest information later today. And again, as I mentioned, you can get the latest information on the Live 5 weather app and, of course, on air and online. Have a great rest of your morning.